With Alaska Supreme Court Chief Justice Peter Maassen about multiple topics, including some of the unique challenges faced in Alaska. I also wanted to know whether or not he has concerns that the majority of state Supreme Court justices have been appointed by the same governor. I also asked what it's like to make decisions that dramatically and permanently impact people's lives.
What does it feel like to be a judge when you know that some decision you've made has greatly impacted a community's outcome or an individual's outcome? What does that feel like to be a judge to somebody who never will be a judge, especially when it is, after the ruling personally that you've done more good than harm with the decision? What is that like?
It's very hard because, as you say, you may feel like you're doing more good than harm, but you also know that somebody is going to take it very badly. It's usually a matter of black and white. We're not mediating cases. We're not trying to reach a compromise. We're trying to decide what's right and wrong, and that means somebody wins and somebody loses. And we're very aware of the impact of our decisions, and we're very aware that some people will be devastated by what we do. But one of the things we're doing now is going through a revision of the code of conduct, the judicial code of conduct that governs the ethics of judges, because it hasn't been revised in a number of years, and it's time that it was. And there are provisions in there about how important it is for judges to make decisions without fear of the consequences, without being swayed by public opinion. We're supposed to be looking at the facts and the law and reaching our best answer based on the facts and the law, regardless of the consequences, regardless of how it's perceived in the community.
Do you feel like you've ever been swayed by public opinion?
That's a good question. I don't think so. I try really hard not to be. I think we all do.
Anything you would have done different? I know you have another 6 months or so, but anything that you would have done different during your time on the high court?
What could have been different? Nothing comes to mind.
Are there unique aspects of the Alaska Supreme Court that are unique to Alaska, or any particular challenges as a Chief Justice in Alaska compared to other states?
That's a good question. I think on the in the matter of substantive law, we've got a much more interesting job than a lot of other courts, just because of the newness of our state and the recency of our constitutional convention. So we're probably trying to figure out the law from the ground up.
Is that common for a state Supreme Court to have a voluminous amount of child custody cases and domestic-related cases to be seen at a high court, or is that uniquely Alaskan?
It's not uniquely Alaskan, but it is unusual. Some other court systems are similar in that they have only one appellate avenue.
The Alaska Supreme Court is nonpartisan. And in the spirit of it being nonpartisan, has anybody brought up any issues to you with having the majority of judges appointed by one single governor? I know that we're approaching that.
No one has talked to me about that. I mean, it's just the way the system works, and a result of the fact that for a while the court was all people like me in our, what were we, in our 60s and maybe late 50s, early 60s, we're all sort of peers, and so we're all timing out at about the same time.
So if somebody said to you, hey, I don't think that's a good situation with one governor appointing, the majority of the judges, what would your reaction be to that person if they said that to you?
I would say that's the way the system works. And I would also refer them to the Judicial Council, because we have a very good judicial selection process now. The Judicial Council is also an independent body, and it makes recommendations to the governors, and the governor is restricted to pick among the recommendations from the Judicial Council.
The Alaska Judicial Council will spend the next several weeks receiving, vetting, and investigating applications and applicants before sending a survey to all of the members of the Alaska Bar Association for potential state Supreme Court candidates.